Hello, guitarists of every stripe and description, and guitar enthusiasts, and people who are just curious about what this crazy guy in Nashville is holding. I'm just not, just like I'm not good with being on stage and not having a guitar to play, I'm not that good at being on camera without a guitar in front of me. Maybe it's just my security blanket, I don't know. By the way, this is a very cool Italia sitar. Belongs to my dear friend Jonathan Pushkar. Sent it over with a couple of other guitars for me to set up. And lovely tone. Ubiquitous Metallica moment. Yeah, these things are nothing but cool. Ooh, scary. Speaking of scary, this will have to stand as our Halloween episode because it's toward the end of the month and I'm not going to be doing another episode before the 31st. So happy Halloween if you celebrate that. And if you don't, then happy whatever you do celebrate. If you celebrate nothing, then just don't be happy. What do we want to talk about? Oh, I have been busy. Busy as the proverbial one-armed paper hanger. I've been working insane hours. In case you're wondering why there's been such a gap since the last episode, a little over 2 weeks. Working 60+ hour weeks. And do keep in mind, if I'm getting paid for 60 hours, that means I'm actually devoting 80, 90 or more hours to the job because there's a lot of sitting around between runs when I'm not getting paid. There's a commute to and from, which these days can be a real bear. Nashville is growing like a weed and, well, it is what it is. Yeah, I haven't even had any time for, to try out all the new gear that I've acquired through buy, sell, trade, and whatever else recently. My new electronic obsession. I've got a ton of stuff to work on, songs to work on, equipment to work with, all sorts of things, and I just don't have any time. I got no time. I got no timing. I got no timing. I got no timing. Spinal Tap, Paul Schaefer moment for you out there in the know, which I'm guessing is probably a good percentage of you. So yeah, I've been working a lot. Again, I can't tell you who I drove. I'm not at liberty to share those things. I just want to say that I personally did not rock and roll all night, nor did I party every day that I was with them. Yeah, I just kind of sat there in the car. So yeah, it is what it is. So what else are we going to talk about? Haters gonna hate. Boy, have I gotten a lot of ugly messages. You've probably seen if you're looking at all below in the comment section. Boy, just Gibson fanboys, just unbelievable. Whatever. I mean, as long as they're tuning in, then more power to them. But it's just ridiculous. I just don't get it. But whatever. Like I said, haters gonna hate. If you're wondering why I keep looking over here, I don't have like a little person, holding up cue cards. I actually had to write out. I used the wrong phone to record this. I used the phone that I normally use for my notes. So you're probably saying, why didn't you use the phone you normally use to record? It doesn't matter. I've got it on paper. Speaking of haters, the big news over the last week on the guitar side of the YouTube world is about something called the Aeroband guitar, which is actually not a guitar. It's a guitar-shaped object, a GSO. Specifically, it's kind of a MIDI controller. And as all smart companies do these days, when someone comes out with a new item, they send them out to all the big YouTubers to review and, cash in on their audiences. Well, this particular company stirred up a whole bunch of drama by sending out these guitars to YouTubers and then following it up with an email basically threatening legal action if anyone was so bold as to say anything negative about the instrument. Of course, they didn't send those out until a couple of, early bird YouTubers had already done reviews and just slammed the thing. I don't know that there's actually anything wrong with the item as a MIDI controller, but it's touted as a great learning tool. They call it a guitar, which it isn't. and it's expensive. It's not cheap. You know, it's one thing you kind of need when you're trying to get people started. This thing's aimed at beginners primarily to help them learn how to play guitar, apparently. You got to have a reasonably inexpensive item to make that work. These things are expensive. Anyway, if you want to have some fun, get online and just go to YouTube and type in Aero Band Guitar legal or whatever, and you're going to just see tons of fun videos of people saying, you know, why they sent the guitar back and they aren't doing a video, and they can't believe that they were asked to do anything so ridiculous as to submit their episodes for approval before posting to make sure that it was nothing but positive. Yeah, it's crazy. Now, of course, they didn't send me one. They don't send me anything because I don't have 100,000 subscribers, but I do have in excess of 800 now. So yeah, I'm getting the jump on myself, but there you go. What else can I talk about? Oh, the other thing that's popped up all over the YouTuber land is Fender came out with yet another new kind of acoustasonic solid body acoustic guitar thing. They're calling it the Highway series. It comes in both a Dreadnought, which is of course bigger, and a Parlor smaller version. It looks very much at a glance like the old 60s Malibus and Newporters and things like that Fender had out, but it's a solid body. It looks interesting. They're made in Mexico. They're selling for $9.99, which I think is probably a little high on the price point, but I don't know. When they finally come out with one in like gloss piano black, the Dreadnought, I'll probably, you know, find a way to get one secondhand or something. I'm not going to pay $1,000 for one, but they look interesting. They sound great, apparently, from the videos I watch. So I should probably, well, you know what? Here's a picture. I don't know why I didn't think to mention it. Here's a picture. This is what they look like, at least the Dreadnought version. Speaking of Fender, apparently they built just a boatload of stock during COVID or something, because they're blowing stuff out on their website at huge discounts. Even like the Made in Japan Aerodyne series guitars and basses, they had it 40% off, which is real close to dealer cost. And for smaller dealers, it is dealer cost. So I don't know if that is still a current sale, but it has been. It can't hurt to go look if you're interested in something like that. But yeah, you know, a deal's a deal. It's a good thing to have. So a little more rambling about YouTube. I've come to the conclusion that I have a particular proclivity, a particular fondness, if you will, for bald male YouTubers. Now, I don't mean in a romantic way, which my wife will be, you know, relieved to hear. But I mean, I've noticed that I have been primarily watching 4 channels, and for whatever coincidental reasons, all 4 are hosted by bald guys. It's just an interesting coincidence, but for instance, I'm really enjoying watching Florian on the Bad Gear channel. He reviews synthesizers and drum machines and all sorts of electronic instruments that have gotten a lot of heat over the internet about why they're bad, and he talks about why they're bad and why they're good. As I understand it, the manufacturers don't mind him having their items on Bad Gear at all, because it manages to sell units for them regardless of what he says. So that's an interesting phenomenon. Also, I'm enjoying watching Claudio, who also is known as Dr. Mix, which is on the Dr. Mix channel. He's a guy who's a fabulous keyboard player, a ridiculously good musician. He does reviews of things, and he also has a professional sideline business where he will produce people's tracks that are sent to him, I guess over the internet, however it's done, and he'll play on them and things, and I don't know, I really enjoy watching him. He's a real engaging presenter, if you will. So it's yet another thing you can look into. It's Dr. Mix. And of course, I got to mention Phil McKnight on the Know Your Gear channel. you know, Phil, what can you say about Phil that hasn't already been said? Phil's the man, you know. And of course, as I've mentioned before, Richard James, the Bald Shredder from the Bald Shredder channel, he's just great fun to watch, and he's got such enthusiasm, and he's a hell of a guitar player. So I have no idea why I felt the urge to bring that up, but I guess I just want to spread the love. If you're looking for something to watch besides me, because obviously I'm not out there all that often, check out these 4 channels. Even if you're not into electronic gear, for instance, those first 2 guys I mentioned, they're really engaging, they're fun to watch. And you're probably already watching Phil McKnight. If you're a fan of this channel, you're probably already watching Richard James, the Bald Shredder. So, you know, the guy who turned me on to Ive Guitars, the custom shop, which is what this entire episode is going to be about once I get to it. But let's move on a little bit. I know what you're wondering. You're already asking this question. Did he say that we have bypassed 800 subscribers on this channel? And yes, indeed we have. We're rapidly approaching 850. I'm blown away. I think it's awesome. At 1,000, I can actually monetize, which means I'll get a couple of pennies a month, potentially. But it's an accomplishment. It's cool. It goes to show somebody's out there watching, right? Plenty of people are watching that aren't subscribing, because the episodes are getting a lot more views than would be necessarily reflected by the number of subscribers. But yeah, so what you're asking is, what happened to the giveaway? Well, I'll tell you what happened to the giveaway. It's going to happen right now. I did wind up going ahead and entering in all the names into a randomizer in the computer. I was going to do the hat thing and pick them out of a hat, but then I realized I'd actually have to write stuff down, and I'm lazy. So I just kind of populated the thing, and it actually was just as much work to do it the way I did as if I'd written it down, but at least my hand didn't hurt afterwards. So in case you're wondering, who in fact won? Well, it was Voodoo Highway, viewer subscriber Voodoo Highway. You're out there watching this, or if you know Voodoo Highway and Voodoo Highway isn't watching this, then turn he, she, or they onto this news. Voodoo Highway, contact me at the email rickenbackeranonymous@gmail.com. Give me your pertinent information. We'll get this thing shipped off to you. Voodoo Highway chose the SF300 Fuzz, which is not surprising because roughly 97% of all people that responded wanted the Super Fuzz. Hey, whatever works. I'm happy to be able to send that on to someone. Meanwhile, I've got an EQ pedal and an Octaver pedal that I'll probably put to work with my synths. So, congratulations, Voodoo Highway. See what else? 800 subs, I mentioned that. SUPARIC, before we get to the modification videos, I want to mention that my dear friend Tom Templeman was so taken with my SUPARIC that he actually ordered one himself. Now, I mentioned this once before, and I showed a mechanical drawing, although I think I accidentally showed the mechanical drawing of mine rather than his. His is roughly identical, but with a much longer headstock because it's a 12-string, and it's in a blue fade. Here's a couple of photos that they sent him before they shipped the guitar to him. But I can do one better. I can actually show you the actual guitar because he sent it over for me to set up. Let me pause this and I'll come back. And I'm back in the room. Without any further ado, here it is in person, the SUPARIC 12. She's a beauty. Sure enough, so those of you who have asked, can this be done? Well, apparently it can, because here it is. And it's pretty great, I gotta tell you. Plays great. It's gonna sound much better once Tom gets his parts. He ordered new pickups just as I did, ordered a whole bunch of new tuners. We're gonna send it off to our personal luthier, Tom Abel, to do the mods. He sent it over to me just to set up so we could play it as it is for now. I just set the string action and the intonation. But he's going to have Tom Abel do the new pickups and the tuners and whatnot. But in case you're curious, yeah, it can be done. And there it is. And it is nothing but cool. So, thanks to Tom, that is Tom Templeman, for allowing me to show that. So back to my SUPARIC. As I'm going to mention later, as you'll see, I used this for a gig this last weekend, exclusively. Performed flawlessly. I'm real happy. Yeah, it's a great thing. So here was the original plan. I was going to set up a camera, my phone, to show you in real time me working at the Workbench and doing the mods on this. But the mount for the phone, for the tripod, didn't show up in time. So what I did was I just kind of like, it's claymation. It's make a little motion, take a picture, make a little motion, take a picture. I just kind of filmed little stages of what the guitar looked like as I went. You're gonna see, and talk about a couple of challenges I ran into. Nothing insurmountable, because here it is, and I've used it, and it's great. Couldn't be much happier. So without any further ado, I'm going to put together this collage of montage, if you will, of little videos showing you the transformation process, and then I'll come back when it's all done and give you a closing salvo. So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back after I'm back. Time travel's confusing. I'll be back. All right, folks, quick update. Here we are disassembled. With any luck, these original tuner holes will accommodate the new tuners without any trouble. If not, I'll have to ream them. Sure enough, the original tuners, which I put somewhere, were absolute crap. They didn't even come out smoothly. Hopefully the new ones will be much better. I did run into one issue. It's going to affect the use of the pre-wired harness. That being, this guitar uses a kind of a proprietary situation here with the output jack, which necessitates me reusing the original jack. Not a big deal, just means I'll have to do a little soldering, which I intended to do none, but that's fine. I already had to do some just to disattach it. So anyway, here we are, completely disassembled. I'll check back in with you when I start to do the actual assembly. All right, quick update. Run into a couple of issues now. The issue with the output jack is now solved. I went ahead and just clipped off the jack that came with the kit, the socket, and attached it here. Not a problem. Now, I was going to clip off this tone control, seeing as I don't have a tone control on this guitar. But what I think I'm actually going to do, just turn it all the way up, tuck it inside, and close it up. Now, here's where the issue comes in. This switch, if we come over here and take a look, it actually sticks up higher than the body. Yeah. So the rear plate won't fit back on. And the original switch, which was garbage, I'm pretty sure I basically toasted it, taking it apart. So I've got to figure out a way to make this work. So there's where we stand now. Running into a few issues, but you should always expect there to be a few issues in these supposedly turnkey situations. So I'll check back in with you in a few once I've figured out how I'm going to deal with this, and then we'll get down to the actual assembly. Alrighty, thanks. So yet another quick update from the Guitar Nuts Anonymous Workbench. Alright, so I had mentioned that I'd taken care of this output jack issue by using the original jack, not a problem there. Now, how did I handle this situation with this replacement switch actually being slightly taller than the cavity in which it was going? Well, necessity being the mother of invention, I found some plastic spacers. They're actually electrical connectors that I cut down. So yeah, it's not elegant. It stands proud of the body, as you can see. What it will do, though, is allow me to get this together, make sure it all works. As you can see, it has the quick connect plugs, which will allow me to just plug in the pickups without doing any soldering. It also allows me in the future, if I get some other GFS pickups, to swap them out instantly without having to do anything other than unplug these. And of course, you know, unmount. But this non-elegant solution will work until I get this all set up and know that it's going to be a successful installation. And then what I imagine I will do is I'll wind up taking this to my actual luthier guitar repair guy, Tom Abel, and having him replace the switch with one that's appropriate for the space. In the meanwhile, this will work. It'll even be giggable. I mean, it's not going to be fragile or anything. It's just not elegant. So stay tuned. I'll come back and we'll take a look at the pickups installed and move on to the tuners. So there's the latest update. I will be back. All right, we're back once again. And here we are with one pickup installed. I just thought I would show you this cool situation here. We actually have this little, because that's an 1/8 inch jack, that plugs into the pickup. It's a really elegant solution to a problem. And allows for super quick pickup swaps in the future. Just take a look at, here's a brand new pickup out of the package. It's actually set up with a wire on it here. They kind of think of everything, even though, well, they don't know that you're buying a pre-made harness like I did. So they include this so you can solder these wires onto your switch or pot, and then you have this ability here to plug and unplug. So I'll wind up with a couple of extra leads, but it's just that simple. That plugs into here and goes in, and then everything mounts up with the original hardware, the rings, and that's pretty much it. So let me get this installed and I'll come right back. And we're back once again. Yeah, I really need to clean this thing up. And I will. We have a gig in a couple of days. Just a quick 12-song gig opening for our friends, Pretty Tied Up, who are doing a Whitesnake tribute act. Should be a lot of fun. Off on a tangent. I'm thrilled to say that the pickups are installed. And sure enough, everything is in order, and I'm equally thrilled to say that these Guitar Fetish locking tuners wound up being a direct replacement for the original Crapola tuners. Not only did they not need to be, did the headstock not need to be reamed out for the tuner posts, but they even have the same footprint, which means that these screw holes were in the exact same spot as the originals, so you would never know that it didn't come from the factory, just like this. And by all accounts, these GFS tuners are supposed to be pretty darn good, comparable to just about anything else out there. I'll find out soon. So all that's left to do now, once I've obviously cleaned it up, is to restring it, test it for sound, and I'll bring you on board for that so you can hear what it sounds like. And yeah, should be great. And gotta say, I'm really pleased. Like I said, the only snafu I ran into was this situation with the back plate, which isn't nearly as bad now that I've trimmed down the riser. The risers, yes, it still stands slightly proud from the back, but it will do for a while until I get around to taking it in to having it done. Yeah, it's a little bit barnyard engineering. But hey, you do what you got to do. People worshipped Eddie Van Halen, and his guitars were essentially garbage. So, what are you going to do? Not that I'm Eddie Van Halen, nor do I want to be. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'll let you go. I'll be back when this thing has strings on it. Stay tuned. And alas, here it is completed. New tuners installed. They work really well. New pickups installed. Yeah, the renovation was not without its little foibles, but overall I couldn't be much happier. I took this to my gig last weekend and used it exclusively. It was a 12-song set, so it was more than enough to get a flavor of how it was, and I'm very, very happy. These GFS pickups are great. I'm sure somebody's going to want to hear some samples, so here's some. Well, first let's give you a little neck. A little buzz on my amp. I think my speaker might be blowing. There's, well, 90% of the time, if not more, I'm on the bridge pickup anyway. So. This tone. It's pretty much everything I'd hoped it would be. The description of having a bit of Rickenbacker-esque chime mixed with a warm P90, warm humbucker. That's what it was, warm PAF. Yeah, it's a very accurate description. Let's switch over to some, by the way, I'm using one of my little Mustang amps, Mustang ones. Let's jump over to some gain tones. Play guitar like I play pool, nothing but slop. Yeah, I'm super happy. So to put everything into perspective, if I include the cost of the upgrades, the small shipping charge, the actual cost of the custom build, I'm into this thing for less than $450 for a custom-made guitar that was built to my specs. Yeah, couldn't be much happier, honestly. So get a handle on one today. Ha! Yeah, Ivy should be give me a spiff. So I'm going to snap off this, and I'll talk to you when I do the rest of the episode. Thanks. So there you go, the SUPARIC renovation project. When I come around to doing the next mod project, which is going to be putting a B bender on this bad boy, I will now have the ability to set up a camera and let you see me working in real time. I don't know how much of it I'm going to use because it could be really boring. Then again, I enjoy watching some videos of guys working on guitars. There's a couple of channels that I have been known to watch extensively for that reason. Dave's World of Fun Stuff, for instance. Watching him work on guitars, you'd think it'd be boring as anything, but to me it's interesting. But yeah, so SUPARIC, I've told you all about the latest news, the subscribers. Good time to mention, if you haven't already subscribed but you're watching this, do subscribe, click the bell so you get notifications. Send me an email if you have anything to say at rickenbackeranonymous@gmail.com, or of course you can leave your lovely and not so lovely comments down below, which I encourage either way. What else can you do? You can share the video with somebody, share it with everybody. Post it to your Facebook page and say, look at this so-and-so. Whatever, make yourself happy. So, as I mentioned earlier, have a happy All Hallows Eve, if that's something you're into. Personally, I love Halloween, but then I love this time of year. It's my favorite time of year, and it just never seems to last long enough. We go from too hot to too cold, and just a short little respite in the middle when it's just right. Kind of that Goldilocks period, you know? So anyway, I'm rambling, but then again, if you ever watched the show, you knew that was going to happen. So until I talk to you next, which hopefully won't be another 2 weeks, but we shall see. Be good to yourself and others. Stay cool, stay frosty. Dig out those sweatshirts because the season is upon us. And most importantly, play some damn guitar. You know, that's what it's all about. Enjoy it. So until I see you next, Steve out.